Hi, this is Bob Simon with the Justice Team Network. I'm shouting out today CallRail. We attach CallRail to all of our calls. We make sure they're all recorded and transcribed. And the reason we do that is we put intelligence on top of those calls to make sure not only that our intake and our people are saying the right things, but we want to make sure that every single customer that comes to our door, if it's not a fit for us, it might be a fit for somebody else. And building that intelligence into our intake calls allows us to refer Co-Counsel with another firm across all practice areas across the United States using CallRail.com. Just use code JTN for a free 30-day trial. Welcome to this episode of the Justice Team Podcast. I'm your host, Bob Simon. Today we're talking to Abel Fernandez, who is with the Justice Team, and he also has his own shop where he specializes in very specific types of cases, like a lot of the civil rights cases we're seeing with some of the DHS and ICE, which we're working on some, which we'll talk about. Also with some of the sex abuse and school abuse cases, the rideshare abuse cases, and then, of course, the fire litigation, being an unfortunate victim, you and yourself, and just being there, living in the community of Altadena and being able to help. So welcome, Abel.
Thank you very much, Bob.
All right, man. So, like, where does the passion come from? I've known you since you were a teenager, probably, maybe younger.
Yeah, back when I was doing investigative work.
So that's the thing is, like, what makes Abel a really good lawyer is his family owns an investigation company that we've worked with for a very long time, and you've been in the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm, very much so. Did the deep and dirty, going on trash runs, serving people, surveillance, all that stuff. It was crazy.
What are trash runs?
That's where you so certain times, you need to obtain evidence, and the thing is, big tip if you're ever, trying to be careful in your case, whenever you put your trash, out for collection, it becomes free game. People can go in and grab it. It's totally legal, and that's why you have to really be careful and tread anything if you're trying to be careful with that. So,
how did you become passionate about these specific areas? Obviously, I know, being a victim of the fire, you're helping out so many families there. We've seen you, sifting through ashes in the community, just helping to be a liaison to make sure that they're getting access to justice. But how about like the rideshare, the sex abuse, the school abuse kids? Where's that come from?
So, you've seen it a lot more in the media, just how much more attention it's been getting. There's been a lot more cases going on, especially with Uber. Of course, there's that whole, every 8 minutes that's been going on. There's the coalition you started that's really been helping bring a lot of attention to it. But personally, I'd say the big one that really got me aware of it was the case that I was kind of working on to bring in with you. It was a really sad story. It was someone who simply just got into an Uber because she just wanted to stop by the convenience store, and she ended up kidnapped and trapped in a warehouse. And it was a really horrible time for her. I don't want to, give all the details on that because it's her story. And sadly, she didn't end up pursuing it because I don't know exactly. I think it was just a lot of stress for her with her family and all that. And it was just horrible. Not just what happened, but just seeing how with all the pressure, it just kind of got away. And she really just stopped seeking justice. And, that's her decision. Big support for her. But I hope that I can develop my skills and try and be that person who can help others and help them feel confident in pursuing justice and essentially just seeing the end of their story in a way that they want.
And that's so common with survivors of sexual assault and this being trafficked through a warehouse is the fear to come forward, the fear of letting other people know that you're a survivor. It's hard. And I know for you specifically, Abel, you were with her from the very beginning after she finally sought shelter, got her to the
police, got her to the
walk
hospital.
us through that. Just, you don't have to say anything specific about her, but just, that's a lot of dedication. That's got to be hard. Like a person that was just one of the worst things you could ever hear or experience. She was in Uber, and correct me if I'm wrong, the guy gave her water and it was drugged.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And then, so walk us through kind of what happened in your story of getting her to the police department and just trying to help her.
Mm-hmm. So, this was through a family friend. We heard about it, and it was a bit of a rush job getting there to try and help her, kind of running around to the police station. The first thing we wanted to do, of course, is kind of file that police report, get that started. And honestly, that was really rough. just when it took forever for them to finally come out. It really took the police a while to come and help her out and actually take her case, which I think doesn't help a lot of these victims because they don't feel there's a lot of confidence in the police because they don't seem to treat it with the seriousness they really should. And then when they finally did come out and take a report, I think that's when it finally got to her. And while she's telling her story to them, she finally broke down and kind of cried for the first time I saw, at least. So it overall, she seemed perfectly okay until then. You know, she was quiet, sure, and all that, and seemed okay, but it was really heartbreaking seeing her actually tell her story, at least for the first time, in front of me, and just seeing how much it actually affected her.
Yeah, and then having to go through the trauma of going to the hospital to do the rape kits, it's hard.
Yeah, no, and it was horrible too because we didn't even go to the right hospital multiple times. Not because it was anything wrong, but we were just getting bad information again from the police. I don't want to sound like I'm putting them down. They're doing their investigative work and they're doing their jobs the best they can, but they couldn't even send us to a hospital that actually could do the kit. We had to get the information from another hospital. The third hospital we visited, I think, and we had to drive all the way to like Santa Barbara to UCLA, one of their hospitals, and actually finally get one. And I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. That's how long this whole like ordeal took. I got there at 4 p.m., got home at 4 a.m. A whole 12 hours.
And eventually, through your help, the police actually did their jobs.
Yes.
I believe they found the individual.
I don't think there wasn't an update for a while. I'm not sure if they ended up finding him, actually.
Yeah. Like what I heard is they know who it is.
Yeah.
But the problem was in this case, like they reported on the Uber app and they think it was somebody using somebody else's account.
Yeah, it was. It was just a fake account. It was just these people can just get on there and basically fake their identity super easy, and Uber does nothing about it.
Why not just have a face unlock to use the Uber app?
Something that just actually tracks them instead of just makes it.
And here's the thing: is they are tracking them, right? They are tracking them. They're on the Uber app. Why not have a backward-facing camera that's live streaming to protect the driver and the passenger?
There's so many ways they can do it, and people have already found ways, but it has to be through third party, like those apps that help people track themselves and give emergency contacts to other people and all that. But for some reason, Uber doesn't just go, why don't we implement this ourselves? Why don't we just save ourselves the trouble, take this technology that already exists, and just make it easier on ourselves, because all they care about is just their shareholders and all that, and they're not going to.
But here's the thing, specifically in that case, when you were doing the investigation with your family, and you guys actually found that this is a repeatable place that people were taking these women to. It was
straight up sex trafficking.
Straight up sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And if Uber's really tracking these drivers, they're going off route all the time and taking them to this place?
To the specific place, yeah, exactly. And so they have the information, but they don't want to give it because they don't want to be held responsible for all this. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And if anything, it impedes the investigation and all these victims.
Yeah. And for reaching out to Abel, it's abel@justiceteam.com. Again, anybody that's a survivor of this, even if you want to talk through your story, be in a safe place to do it, give you options, but you're not alone. You're not alone. We've worked on enough of these cases.
We're here to help you.
Yeah.
There's so many people who want to help you.
Yeah, and there's a reason that a lot of folks say, hey, we have distrust in reporting it to the police or coming forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hear stories like this all the time, there's a hesitancy even from police just to believe survivors, knee-jerk, and they're not going to do anything about it. There's just, this is maybe too hard for me. I'm not going to work on it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. So that's, let's turn the page to the other thing that you're passionate about right now. We talked about the Uber, the sex abuse stuff, the fire stuff we covered on other episodes. So what's the other thing that is kind of you're passionate about right now to help?
Definitely the Eaton Fire Canyon.
Yeah.
Just, I was in the neighborhood. That ended up being one of the things I lost. I think I talked about it on the last time, so I won't harp too much. But it was a very personal loss for me. It was the entire home, just everything gone, overnight, and it's still something that's still kind of processed nowadays for me and my family. I see when I'm talking with my dad about it, there's just like. He's okay now, I'd say, for the most part, but just every now and again, I think, and I do it too, we'll be like driving on the highway and we'd see the exit we'd normally get off Fair Oaks Avenue or Lake, and we'd like, oh yeah, we're like kind of starting to merge, and like, oh wait, right, we don't go there anymore. You know.
Yeah, and that's the same story for all of your neighbors, man. It's just terrible. Yeah.
But in that way, I guess it's kind of, kind of cathartic, kind of helpful that I get to directly contribute to the process of helping people in my neighborhood get the recovery they deserve. Because, it's a lot of harm, not just their home, it's their health and, the emotional trauma and all that, and especially sucks now kind of seeing Southern Edison doing the same thing that they've done, that other power companies do before, where they try to do these programs where they're like, oh, we'll repay you, we'll give you some compensation for what happened to you. But you compare it to like the actual judgments or settlements that people with attorneys get, and then you're getting like a third of what you should be getting. And it sucks. And it's only because a lot of people aren't informed. Like, I think this time around, people are a little more informed and a little more just like conscious that, they really are trying to screw us, because they were really bad the first time.
And that's what a lot of people, when you look at the data, it's people that have an attorney for these that know they can go the distance. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, I got to pay attorney 25% in this case, sometimes a third, so I can get more in my pocket if I represent myself. Never true. Like,
never ever
stats show that
there's
if you do have an attorney, it's way more, like triple the amount in your pocket, even though you're paying your lawyer to get compensated. And they want you to not have a lawyer because then they have to pay you less.
Yeah, and here's the thing that most people aren't going to know because they're not attorneys. In this case specifically for the Eaton Fire, your attorney's fees are going to be covered by the defendants, yes. Because there's basically inverse condemnation law. It's been a little bit since I last looked at it. I might need a reminder. But essentially, because the power company is so intertwined with the city and how it supports and all that, because of that situation, it actually qualifies the plaintiffs to recover their attorney's fees from the defendants. And we know for sure that we're going to have the money to cover all this because of the fire fund that's in place. So there's going to be enough money for everyone. And so not only are you going to get what you deserve, you're not even going to actually have to pay directly to your own attorney.
Yeah, the lawyers ask for your full amount that should be reimbursed you for everything, your emotional distress, your property, everything, and 25% more to pay your lawyers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the last one we've been working a lot on is the civil rights cases, these cases against ICE. And I know you had found through another family friend where, unfortunately, like they claimed that there was an individual, and Mr. Longoria was trying to ram officers with his car, so they opened fire on him and the two teenage kids. One was 18, one was 22 in the car, and it was all a lie.
All of it. I think we've already looked at the transcript, but nothing the prosecutor could say was something provable. Everything got challenged. Like, what was this? Was this a proper stop? All of that stuff just was like, no, we actually can't define it. No, we didn't have that. They tried claiming there was ramming. No, they just drove away after they broke the windows. And for some reason, they decide, oh, how do we stop these guys? Let's fire into the passenger side where the children are, where the kids were. Yeah,
American citizen sitting shotgun, kid shot at.
And they only wanted the driver.
Yeah.
But they're just like, oh, let's endanger the kids just because.
Yeah, and this is the thing, with this one specifically, we've been pretty vocal about it. And I know you were there with the family for the news conference, so, edit in those photos. But you were out there from the very beginning and actually seeing the bullet holes in the car, right?
Oh my God.
There's the bullet. And we're telling the authorities, telling DHS, hey, the evidence is the murder weapon's here. Come look at it. Instead, they bust down his door at 4 a.m. to arrest him for attempted murder against an officer, which they later dropped, which is now dropped because we actually went and pulled all the videos. Abel went to the Four Corners, got all the video surveillance, see everything, and it disproved everything the government was saying.
Yeah, but they're still holding him in detention because they want to deport him. It was premeditated.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
So we got to get him out of detention, and it's just so unfortunate. It's like they use it just to a holding pattern for ICE and under a guise of a crime that he never committed, and they dropped the charges once we showed them there's nothing there. Yeah. And the judge was challenging. The judge was mad, and he was like, "Was this legal?" We have the transcript. It's like,
what was your basis? All they could do was stammer. All they could do was stammer when asked what was the thing you needed or what was the thing
and the judge even asked, he's like, U.S. attorney, did you even look at these videos? Because it looks very scary from Mr. Longoria's point of view. And they didn't even know we had the videos. They never did an investigation. They still haven't.
They didn't even identify themselves.
No.
At any point, I think one person had an ICE officer, and everything else was probably something they bought off Amazon.
Yes, and they were wearing different types T-shirts, badges. One guy just jumped out of a car holding a gun at him. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, the same guy that fired, he jumped out with a gun holding when there was nothing going on. In the video, you see it. The truck that Mr. Longoria is in, it's just pulling up at this intersection, maybe about to get ready to turn. All of a sudden, the cars surround him, blocking off every point of escape, blocking traffic everywhere. Does not at all look organized. Does not at all look like actual police doing whatever they're supposed to do. It just feels like they're trapping some innocent individual. And they just approach.
And you don't even know if they're real or not. Exactly. We've seen instances where these people are fake.
I saw a story recently where some fake ICE agents came up saying they had a warrant. They got into the house and robbed the family blind.
Yeah.
So it's endangering everyone, not just because we can't trust who's who, but also because people know that and are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate. Like, I know we're investigating cases right now against local car washes where they're just jumping on, it's private property, no warrant. They're just grabbing people. I know one woman, she says, here's my papers, I'm legal. They didn't care if they threw her in a van. She was detained for 3 days, gone. There's a one in Orange County right now where they had raided the same place 3 times, and now they're all legal folks working there. They come again without a permit. They start pulling people out of the cars. They didn't care. Broke a guy's leg, ruined property damage at the car wash. They're just they're creating chaos.
I think they even hurt the owner in that one because he's telling him to stop. And no, they just push him away, and he injured his leg somehow.
I mean, it's just insane. Just come on, guys. Reach out for Abel. Happy to investigate all those cases. So, Abel, thanks for coming on. We could talk forever about these things, and you're passionate about all of it. But if you have anything, those types of cases, reach out. Wealth of information, boots on the ground, well entrenched in the neighborhood, knows absolutely everyone, and he's willing to dumpster dive for cases. Abel, thanks for coming on, brother.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Bob.